story, and it's called All the Fun of the Fair, and it's by Christina Cummings. I'm sorry, Christina, I don't know where you are now. Where? Oh. All the Fun of the Fair. A fun fair? I look over at Philip. He's eating a heaped bowl of Frosties and reading the paper. His free hand strokes the horoscopes. Oh, God, I haven't had these for years, he says, and wipes a rivulet of milk from his unshaved chin with the back of his hand. I'll wait for him to reply. He always makes me wait. Yeah, fun fair, what's the big deal? He tips the bowl to make a pool of sugary milk and spoons it up like soup. Well, for one thing, you hated fun fairs as a child. You said that they were risks not worth taking. You used to harp on about derailings and loose bolts and decapitations. What can I say, little bro? I'm feeling reckless. And I'm not talking roller coasters, I'm talking crazy cottages, magic mirrors, dodging cars, the ghost train. I pour out a second mug of tea and watch Philip as he holds the bowl up to his mouth and drinks the last sweet dregs of milk. I've not been out since Marsh's death, and it's the last place I choose to go. But Philip looks like a child again, and I don't want to disappoint. We are the only two guys at the fun fair. It's midweek, and the other patrons are mothers and grandmothers, walking behind pushchairs, their shoulders stooped unbecomingly. I think of Marsh's wish to have a child and how I'd failed her that, before she'd had enough and ended her own life. Philip buys tokens from the kiosk and hands half of them to me. They look and feel like foreign coins. I can't believe we're doing this, I say. A gull flies overhead and squirts a string of shit down the side of the helter-skelter. Settling upon the iron spokes of the Ferris wheel, it surveys the scene with a stern eye. The smell of hot dogs and fried onions are carried on the breeze, along with diesel from some generator pump. Yeah? Well, look, at least we're doing something, he says. It's better than sitting around in that hellhole of a bungalow and getting shit-faced. I have to agree. Logic is a never-ending argument. In any case, I'd stopped drinking after the funeral, much to Philip's annoyance. The ghost train looks smaller to me now. As a child, I considered it to be an endless maze of tracks and tunnels, but it was really just the size of a large lorry. I feel foolish as we sit, with very little legroom, side by side in a rickety carriage, and as we begin to trundle along, passing through the gash in the black sheet of cloth and disappearing inside, I hold my breath. The place is darker than I'd expected, and it smells. Almost at once we are serenaded by a mix of loud music interspersed with maniacal laugh of the crazed axeman of cheap Hollywood movies. Dry ice escapes from some hidden valve. And for a sickening moment, it's as though we're entering the inescapable interior of a gas chamber. A rubber bat whooshes past our head. My hat! I shout, louder than I'd meant to, though my last words are lost in the blasts of treble and bass. Scared? Philip teases, knocking with my shoulder. Piss off, I say. I knew this had been a bad idea. The ride ends abruptly after the perfunctory ghost jumps out at us from behind a cardboard tombstone etched with 3 unsettling letters, R.I.P., and the headless mannequin of a peasant woman, a basket slung across the crook of her elbow, her neck just a red raw stump, watches us blindly as we round the final bend. The daylight surprises us. Our pupils shrink to pinheads. A child has tripped over on the rocky turf, grazing its knees. It wears a Gap sweatshirt and faded jeans. It's hard to tell if it's a boy or a girl as it sobs with shrill wretchedness into the arms of a young, tired-eyed mother. Thanks, Philip says to the ticket guy, who just nods at us in amusement, his hands jammed into his money belt slung around his scrawny hipsters. I have to go back in there, I say, grabbing Philip's arm. You're kidding me. Philip shakes my hand away and walks off to get some candy floss from a burger stand. He reaches up to unpeg a bag under the watchful eyes of the vendor who flips frankfurters and onion rings, which uncoil and coil on the hot griddle like a handful of worms. I thought candy floss was supposed to be pink, he says, eyeing the blue and green ball of sugar in the inflated plastic bag, unpegging it anyway and handing over £2. My hat? You are joking, right? Just wait here, I'll be right back. The guy in charge of the ride gives me permission to go in, and so I push through the black cloth and step inside. Making my way along the thin train track, I pass the painted ghouls and the 2 ancient mummies, which appear to step with benign nuisance from their tombstones, their grey bandages peeling away from them, as though they decomposed some several hundred years ago. The dry ice smells eggy now, as the last wisps diffuse slowly, like diaphanous beings from the spirit world. I talk to myself like I sometimes do at home. What the hell is it? I say, rummaging round on the floor, and I find sweet wrappers, an unused condom, an old glove. There you are! I pick up my hat. I turn to leave. And then I see her. I step back so fast, I trip on fake tree roots, cutting my leg on lengths of loose wiring as I fall. She's slumped against a gravestone, her eyes just 2 black holes, in a face so contorted, so vile, I can neither look at her nor turn away. I'm unable to move. I cannot catch my breath. I watch her as she turns to me. What in the hell are you doing in there? It's Philip's voice, but I cannot speak. What the... Philip is inside the ghost train, helping me to my feet. What happened, for Christ's sake? I saw her. Ooh! Marsha. All right, that is it, he says, putting his arm around me and helping me out. I don't care what you say, we are going for a bloody drink. Thank you, Christine, coming.